Hey y'all, Beard Bros Golf Show back at it again. Day late, your boy. I was on the road this past weekend, long extended weekend. Just got back in from NYC, as the hat denotes. Had a good time there. Got my glasses knocked off in the subway, straight down the subway track. So I had to go to CVS and get some some readers, bro.
Readers?
Uh, yeah, straight up. So anyway,
What do
it
you
was a
mean
good
you got
trip.
them knocked off?
We were at the stop for
Story
the
time with
Yankees.
Roddy.
At the stop, smooth train ride. New Yorkers are the most aggressive people in the United States. Maybe Philly. Maybe Philly's is more aggressive, but New York is right there. And, just tons of New Yorkers talking their New York stuff on the train there, overcrowded. Everybody's trying to pile off at this exit at Yankee Stadium, which is kind of crazy because you just all the blocks are shut down around the stadium. You just walking across the street.
Yeah.
They pretty much allow everything but guns into the stadium. People were with jugs. My kiddo had a bagel left over. They let her walk that in. It was crazy. Anyway,
Damn.
we're exiting the train, and it's just tons of people. I'm looking down, just trying to get through the door and get my family through, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, out of my right peripheral, I look. I can't even see it until it just hits me in the side of the face. But the door for the subway train, I guess it's on the timer, starts to shut. I'm looking down at the time for some reason, and before I know it, the glasses were beyond my reach and dropped straight down. Did not catch any ground, anything,
Damn.
just straight down onto the tracks. And at that point, I was like, "Well, those are gone." And so
Oh my
I
God.
was I was in a state of shock, but apparently my wife heard some guys say like, "Oh, that subway door is an ass." Did you see what they did? What it did to his glasses? So anyway, it was a lighthearted
Damn.
moment. Um, but anyway, I'm tired as all get out. We walked pretty much everywhere. We're a couple of train rides, of course. Couple of short bus trips. I love public transportation. Just love it. But yeah, we walked everywhere else. Everything was in about 10, 10, 15 minutes of where we were. Pretty central in Manhattan, but altogether, good trip. Got a Knicks game in, got a Yankees game in. So New York owes
Yeah.
us nothing. Did the Metropolitan Museum of New York. Great trip altogether. So got the kiddo gets to chance got a chance to experience the Big Apple. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's where I spent my weekend trying to keep up with the Masters at the same
Yeah.
time as we were kind of floating around. What would you say, man? Would you say this was the best Masters since we've been playing and paying attention to golf, for the last 12 to 13 years?
Yeah. I mean, all the culmination that it had, all the good talent that it had. I mean, I feel like the big guns were kind of warming up and trending the right way. So we had a lot of good names. We had old names. We had some livers up there. So yeah, I think overall this was probably our best Masters for a
Yeah,
long time.
maybe the next closest would have been the one in 19 with Tiger
Yeah,
winning. He had gone 10 years since his last major at that point, 10, almost a full 11 as
almost
well.
11. Yeah,
Yeah, like Rory. Rory finally able to get off the snide, and it was not easy, man. It was not easy. A lot of the chatter from years past, him, missing 11 years of getting a major, close finishes here and there, right? U.S. Open last year, which is also what made kind of the final day playing with him and Bryson, special.
yeah,
Those two guys that, although they didn't play together in the U.S. Open, came down to a tight finish with them, and it being decided, and essentially what could be debated as a Rory choking away the U.S. Open, And to be honest, I think a lot of that same conversation would have happened had he not won this year with the
Yeah,
Masters. At one point in time, he had a three-stroke lead, kind of middle of his round, and then started falling back. I think that the odds of him winning were like negative 2,500. It was pretty much insurmountable, but ended up with two double bogeys on the back nine, dramatically crazy. Um,
yeah,
first day, I was like, he was rolling along, kind of ho hum turn. He was putting himself in a solid position. Also had a rough back nine on the day one with two double bogeys. So yeah, it just Rory all over the place. It's so much to talk about. It's hard to kind of get started. Let me throw up the Bryson clip just because I want to talk about that just right off the bat, get that out of the way, with him discussing his final round playing with Rory.
There, how's he doing? Do you know?
No idea. Didn't talk to me once all day.
Did you try and initiate conversation with Rory at all?
He wouldn't talk to me.
I'm gonna replay it just.
Did you speak to him in there? How's he doing? Do you know?
No idea. Didn't talk to me once all day.
Did you try and initiate conversation with Rory at all?
He wouldn't talk to me.
And me and you have talked about that in the background. A lot of bitch assness. Like I just don't like the tone and the quick manner of speaking. I think the results end up bearing themselves out. Bryson came in +3 for his Sunday, had a hot start, and I know my group chat was already kind of, we had some money riding on it. So they lost their
yeah,
stuff pretty early on. Seeing Rory struggle right off the bat with the double bogey, Bryson come in with two early birdies, and then the game switched up. But hearing Bryson talk about Rory not speaking to him all day, I just thought that was a weak sauce. He should understand as a competitor that Rory's trying to get off the snide, being friendly and all that jazz. That's not what he's there for. What do you think?
yeah.
I know where you're already at with it, but let the folks know where you're at with that.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was very unnecessary for him to even comment on that. I mean, again, the reporter looking for things to, write about and, get an opinion on some stuff. So, of course, he's going to ask the question, but you 30, you a major champion, you got to be, a little bit more mature about that type of deal. Everybody's trying to win, and it's on the biggest stage. We all know what it is at Augusta. Uh, Secondly, y'all just was in a battle for the U.S. Open last year. I don't think I'm not saying he's beefing with you, but do you think he's really like just excited to have conversation with you after what happened last year?
Right.
So, that kind of adds on to it as well. But yeah, just to put yourself in that situation to even answer that question is goofy. I mean, bro, you just gotta pass along on that question and be like, he was doing this thing, I was doing my thing. It didn't end up
Yeah.
happening, but we gotta keep going.
Well, me,
Cause
me and you have me and you have talked about how well Bryson has done with PR these last 2 years, and
right,
really gotten the spin machine going. Where was the PR answer there? I talked about it in our chat that all you had to say was Rory was locked in. Conversation was limited. We were both playing our own ball. That's
yeah,
the deal. He could have moved
really.
on, but he seemed kind of there was a lot of sauce on that answer.
It was very salty. I mean, but I mean, he didn't show it when he needed to. So I think he don't have anybody to blame but himself. I mean, he went back into the
Yeah,
field. Rory surged. Rory still came back to the field, and if you had been doing any kind of thing, staying around even par, you would have been in the fight. It might have been a different
right.
situation with you being able to put pressure on him in the final group playing alongside him. but you didn't do yourself any favors. You go bogey bogey on 3-4. You really don't take advantage of holes in your distance. Pause. But I mean, seriously though, you change up your game and you don't have that same bubbly energy. So I don't know what happened to Bryson. Maybe he got a little nervous as well on Sunday, but just unfortunate because the cinema was still there, but it could have been an even greater show if Bryson would have showed up as we all thought he would have to make it at least a two-man horse, because it felt like 12 under, 10 under. I felt like, with the way the course was presenting itself, not too windy, green still pretty perceptive, some monstrous drivers of the golf ball. Probably, two of the top 10 drivers. Rory, you know how I feel about Rory driving, but Bryson, when he's on, he's on. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to take that away from him. I mean, we saw what he did at the Ryder Cup a few years back. The guy can really move it. So, why would you, one, lay up on three, not play to your driver more times than not? You got to take advantage of that. When you can overpower a golf course, you have to. The numbers speak to that. It's literally statistically proven that
Yeah.
being longer off the tee is always going to help you, whether you be in the shortcut, in the second cut, or in the pine straw, or whatever it may be. More times than not, you're going to be able to hit a more controllable shot, a wedge, a short iron, something that you'll be able to control a lot better than hitting a 4 iron or a 6 iron or something like that, where yeah, I'm supposed to hit that good, but I'm not going to hit that as well. So Brunson ain't got nobody to blame but himself, and the saltiness in that reply literally encompassed that.
Yeah. Yeah. You should not be worrying about your playing partner unless they're doing something that impedes your ability to play at a pace that is decent, or they're, walking in your line or some kind of distractionary tactic. Being quiet is should not even come up in that scenario. Again, the question is
Yeah.
going to be asked. I'm sure that people that were close to the action noticed that there was no conversation off the tee boxes, that they're probably just walking to their ball quietly, not initiating. But to me, I think the mission that Rory was on, and I think hearing him after the fact talking about it with, he did ton of press after, but particularly Amanda Balionis saying he didn't even realize like how much pressure he had put on himself, kind of building to that point, and you could see it. And a lot of wonderful photography coming out after the fact about kind of him on the green, kind of the relief, throwing his arms up in the air, the hug with Harry Diamond, all these different moments kind of showing these releases of emotion. Again, a man in that position doesn't want to be friendly, and the pressure's on. You go into the final day with a two-shot lead. You feel that it's an opportunity, right? And we saw him throw that away. He's come in
Yeah.
second here recently, but we saw him implode years ago on Sunday. So, he's doing everything in his mind to be able to avoid that. He even spoke to first tee pressure and feeling that in his stomach for the longest time. So you can't even imagine what it's like, even if he feels like he's conquered that feeling. Sunday at the Masters, the opportunity to get the monkey off of your back, get the Grand Slam, the career Grand Slam, break your 11-year drought for majors. So many pressures. And again, I don't want to talk in that scenario. I don't want to talk even, sometimes when we're down to it, and, you just want to focus in and play your game. So, um,
Facts.
I thought that was super weak, especially seeing that right after the action had kind of subsided. But it is what it is. Um,
Right.
yeah. Kudos to Bryson for showing that he's still at the top of his game. You know,
Yeah.
Massive kudos for him. Unfortunately, a lot of the other live guys haven't been able to sustain or hold together full tournaments. We joke, they get to 54 holes and their brain turns off to a certain degree. Um, it's hard to like not not point that out that they tend to
Right.
struggle. I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
he
right in
got
front
his
of you.
U.S. Open. Yeah, the stats are there. Had a few live guys up there with an opportunity on Sunday. DeChambeau, Patrick Reed actually had a really good
Former
Sunday
Masters
and
champion.
yes, and weekend all around. I sent you a post that I wasn't even aware of, and how close Patrick Reed was to being in the playoff himself, but had a three putt late in his round. So,
Yeah.
um, again, when it comes down to it, this is what we have right now with, the leagues being split to see them playing all together. This is our one opportunity or four opportunities per year to see it. So
Yeah.
you get those four opportunities to do so. If you don't do it, you can't blame anybody but yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah. um, and who knows where Rory is with the Live PGA Tour split, if that's any part of the silence, or if they've even spoken since the U.S. Open last year. I don't know what their personal relationship is. They never seemed like they were tight at all, but anyway.
They did a media. They did a media thing because that was funny.
Was
Where
that in
they were on the.
between the U.S. Open?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was after the fact, and he said he was looking forward to getting back at him, and then Bryson said what he said, and now he's got to stand on that. So he kind of. I mean, it really, honestly put his foot in his mouth because he did that. He did that to himself on Sunday, just like Rory did. You put yourself
Yeah.
at a three over round or whatever when you had it all in front of you too. I mean, the double on 11. I mean, he really just did not give himself any favors yesterday or Monday. I mean, Sunday. I'm sorry, my fault. My fault.
Yeah. I know we're 2 days out. That's my fault.
No worries.
um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to go play. The back nine seemed to play very tough for most people um,
Yeah,
all week. It just typically, I mean, and it's not even an amen corner that was tearing people up. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong, it was. It seemed like the additional length on 13 also was beating
yeah,
up on people. It was crazy because I saw more balls in the water on 13 than I've seen in previous years. That's been really pretty much like a gimme birdie.
yeah.
But
Reach.
this year, yeah, that extra length, even though you don't take a 500 yard, anything within 500 yards on the PGA Tour as incredibly difficult, but it
Yeah,
seems like they finally figured that hole out and how to make it the right length, where players can't cut the corner anymore. A lot of players having to play safety shots on their second. A lot of layups. Rory choosing the layup on the final day as well. So interesting stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, but let's not disregard the fact that Rory did what he was supposed to do. He went out, set a number on Thursday, got back in it. Friday, I mean, I'm sorry. Third Friday, he set a number. Then
Yep.
Saturday, he went out and chased it. All no holds bar. Um, I mean, I don't know. I like. There's a lot of side stories that we're gonna get into, but as Rory fans, I don't want to diminish the accomplishment that he, did. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we still have to think about all the thoughts that were going through his mind, all of the media pressure, all of his own pressure. Like, we can harp on that for literally an hour of the show. I mean,
Yeah.
true. Like, just think about all the stuff that came out, all the stories, all the Nike, commercials and stuff that were ready that we've just been waiting on and stuff like that. When you are, kind of harped on as the next big thing, and you come out hot, you win in 2011 at US Open, you ran away with it. Next year, you
Mhm.
run away with the PGA. Then you switch from Titleist to Nike, grace period, aka what Max Homa is going through. Then you come right back out on fire, 2014. Then you go back to back on majors again. The
Yeah.
sky is the limit, you know? So the pressure is right there already. So for him to, take as long as he did, you can't even blame him, because with that insurmountable pressure of being the next guy and being the Tiger, Tiger adjacent, like we used to, I mean, when they were both with
Yeah.
Nike, we were saying, yo, if it's not Tiger, it's Rory. And
Right.
for a while,
And
it
then,
was that.
yeah, they were good friends. They were, always side by side, equipment, both moving over to
Pony
TaylorMade.
commercials. Right.
Right. This the synergy was there. And we know Tiger gives, a little bit of extra, TLC to the guys that he's cool with. We've seen that with JT. We saw that with Rory as well. Giving him, the tricks of the trade. But at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
we know that there's something special about the mentality of Tiger.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, I wonder if Rory can get inside of his own head. We know he's a deep thinker and that he thinks
Right.
about things beyond the surface level, and puts pressure on himself, especially. It's not like we've seen him go on complete winless streaks, right? He's been a prolific winner,
Right.
wins tournaments quite often, but when it's mattered, the majors, we thought at the trajectory that he was on, as you mentioned, that it was just, like you said, sky's the limit, and he was going to take
Yeah.
off from that point. So, you start overthinking, you think about your legacy before you've actually achieved it. And now that, again, I hope that now that he has achieved this feat, I saw
I
the
think he
list
goes on a
of,
run.
I hope so. But you saw the list of accomplishments that what does he have left to achieve, right? He's got all
Yeah.
the majors, two PGAs, got the FedEx Cup, so many race to Dubai championships. Like that's not
Two
even
players now. Let's not
right.
forget that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's on the
Won it
three
in two different
tournaments.
ways.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, he lost
won.
to everybody in 2019, and then he won a nitty and gritty one here this year. I mean, he's won in every way possible. He's come back late. He's done it in dramatic fashion. He's run away with things. I mean, he's done it all as far as winning.
Yeah. So we hope that he goes on a run, that this relieves that pressure, and now he can focus in on just now legitimately cementing his legacy. Is he already
Yeah.
a Hall of Famer? Of course. He's absolutely a golf Hall of Famer. That's not even in question at this point. But now you start trying to stack up and get there in that would probably be the best player in history of the game. Right? We always are going to go back and forth on is it Jack, is it Tiger, and then
Yeah.
who's that third guy?
Yeah.
And I think he can easily solidify that with a couple more majors. Maybe if he goes on a run, he's still in his mid 30s, right? 35, 36.
Right.
Can he go ahead and get 5 more to get to 10? Yeah. I think that's highly
Feasible.
possible. Yeah, I mean the guy's game and athletic status is still otherworldly, right? I mean, we saw him
Yeah.
lead off, what was it, Saturday with a 371-yard drive on number one, besting the entire field by 50 yards on that hole. Not even
Yeah.
close. So clearly, the man is still peak performance at this stage. Puts in the work behind the scenes. Seemingly has figured out the personal life stuff as well. I mean, the man is balancing a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
I truly saw a lot of that. Me myself being a father, trying to balance your day to day life with, raising a child and being present in their life And
Yeah.
I can see like those moments where he sees her after a tournament and he's crying just because when you see your kid, it's kind of like all these emotions come flooding back to you and these reflections come back to you. So I see that and I feel that as a father in
Who
him
you
as
do it for?
well. Say that again.
Who you do it for?
Exactly. And so it's a lot. I mean, the man is juggling a lot, and we'll probably circle back on a few of these things, but let's touch on a few other topics. There's so much to unravel from literally one weekend of golf.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, he's who I put my money on this week. He was the heavy favorite going into the tournament. Rory was, not far away in number two in terms of the betting odds. But Scheffler really never could get it going he didn't move on moving day. I mean, he literally shot even on Saturday.
Even.
So
Yeah.
was not able to do kind of have an explosive day. Saturday would have been a key day for Scotty. While very good, still good, good weekend. Um, but was not able to capture the magic. He has had a slow start to the year with the injury going into the year delayed. So a lot of his prep work, we know Scotty is one of those guys that also puts in the work behind the scenes. I mean, he finished top four. So I'm not
Right.
sneezing at it, but I mean, we've come to expect, especially at the Masters, a lot from Scotty. But for him to end up in this position without having his best game also speaks to, how this is really a course for him. And not that he's figured it out. I don't think you ever figure Augusta National out, but you can not necessarily have. And we joked when Jordan Spieth said it, but he's a whole nother story. Jordan Spieth said a couple of weeks ago, didn't have my best game when I actually won the Masters. So I think we kind of saw that personified with Scotty. Played
Yeah.
well, didn't win it, but fourth position. So what do you think about Scotty's week, and what do we have to look forward from him for the rest of the year as well?
Um, I think when ultimately for Scotty, when you're a prodigious ball striker like him, you're never really going to be out of a race or out of a fight as far as tournaments go. If he can keep doing this little bleedy cut off the tee, I mean, it's an easy 310 for him. And that's really, still above tour average.
Mhm.
So if you can do that, come into greens, give yourself an opportunity on greens, you're always going to be good. The U.S. Open is at our next. No. PGA is next.
PGA.
The PGA is next, but the U.S. Open fairways will be tight, rough will be up, hitting the fairways will be a premium, greens and reg will be a premium. I think that's our next best opportunity to see Scotty really shine and put on a show as far as majors go. But I don't want to diminish anything that Scotty has going because, I mean, he's already a two-time major champion. I mean, and I think he knows his lane, and I think he knows what he's best at. And I I also don't want to lump him into that group that if he has a hot putting week, it's gonna be kind of like a scary week for the field. But
Yeah.
honestly, the way if Scotty has a putter going, either that be, if he decides to use the pencil stroke or whatever, the pencil grip, from 15 feet and in or whatever he is for the short putts and stuff like that, and he starts making putts, then it's lookout field. That's what happened for the Houston Open. He had a ho hum round on Saturday, and that's the only thing that cost him from really being in contention with Minwoo Lee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he
Yeah.
shot 62 on Friday, 63 on Saturday. The guy can go low when needed. So I'm never, you're never worried about Scotty, but it's just what's the next best course for him? What course suits his game the best?
And
You
and
said
the
it best.
PGA
I
this
mean,
year,
horses.
Go ahead. Yeah.
These
This
horses
year is
don't
going to
have.
be at Quail Hollow, which kind of again circles back
Also,
to Rory. Rory has played well at Quail Hollow multiple times, multiple wins there.
yeah,
But it's a known stop for a lot of these guys, right? It has
yeah,
been in the regular rotation. Will the setup be different for the PGA Championship? Absolutely. Will
yeah,
be a little bit longer than the normal, week? Yes, it will be. Will the rough be grown up? Yes, it will be. Hell, I mean, I know, you know, the second cut at Augusta seemed to be just slightly thicker than it had been in previous years. I don't know if I'm crazy, but it just felt like balls were sitting down just a little bit more this year than in previous years. Saw some flyers that we don't typically see, but
right.
I
More
know we'll see
predictable.
this. Yeah, I think we'll definitely see that at Quail Hollow. So again, I don't think we've not seen Scotty win out there, but it is a course that fits his game. Has
Yeah,
to move it both ways. He is pretty good with the long irons, but that's where I think Rory has dominated at Quail Hollow. You're going to have a lot of long irons into some of those holes out there. And so Rory is a prodigious long iron striker. So I think that's why
yeah,
he fares pretty well at Quail Hollow. Very accurate. So we'll see, but I'm excited, and especially with the quick turnaround that we're experiencing, the PGA Championship's a month away. A month away, it's less than a month. It starts on May 12th. So
yeah.
it'll be here before we know it. Um, on Let's just talk about some notables that missed the cut. See if you have any feedback here. So we had Dustin Johnson missed the cut by one stroke. Russell Henley. I think I put these in order of how badly they were missed. They missed the cut. Keegan Bradley, Sergio Garcia in his horrific outfit. Tony Finau, Brooks Koepka didn't really even give himself a chance. Billy
Yeah.
Horschel, Adam Scott, Phil Mickelson, and Zalatoris. All notables that missed the cut that we probably would have expected a little bit better. I don't know. Mickelson's been on a rough go at it for a while anyway, even at the Masters. So I wouldn't say that one's a surprise, but still notable. Any that
Yeah.
just really you're like, what the hell? That really stand out for you?
Um, yeah, I would say the most, not saying Russell Henley was going to make a run, but did I think he was going to at least make the cut? Yeah. Did I think Zalatoris was going to make the cut? Yeah. Did I think Adam Scott was going to make the cut? Absolutely.
Correct.
Mickelson, I'm giving Mickelson some grace. He's gonna ride off into the sunset pretty soon. I don't know how much more truly competitive golf he has. Like I said, I probably said this maybe 4 times now. Phil needs to lock in for 2 or 3 months out the year, get himself physically fit, and just go hunt some of these majors that he's already won and know he can get an exemption into. He's got a
Yeah.
lifelong into the Masters. So while you're off doing your off season for the Live Tour, you need to be in Cali where the weather is, moderate as it is. You'll be able to play
Mm-hmm.
golf, and you need to put some work in. Not I'm not diminishing Phil's career, but it's looking real ugly right now. So that's what I'm saying. He needs to lock in a little bit so that way when he rides off into the sunset, we're not sitting here looking like, damn, Phil looking real busted when he went out. Like at least
Yeah.
make some fight. Like,
Give
oh
give
no,
give it
Phil was
give it a 2 or 3 year run of focus. You know.
thank you. Something. He doesn't have a gut. It's never like he's out of shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say like two things. And they're diametrically they're different. One of them's like insignificant. The shoe game from Phil was elite. He rocked a pair of
Oh, bro.
Masters Jordan 1 lows that were just like the best, one of the best customs I've ever seen. So shout out to
Truly.
Phil, getting in line. It's very interesting seeing these guys that are playing shoes that, and there's a couple of other ones that I'll point out, especially the live guys. So that's one thing, and I think the rumors, and I hate saying this, but and I'm going to put it broadly. Let's just say it. I don't think it's one thing, or I'm not going to say it's one thing. The rumors about Phil on some uppers, he's got the crazy eyes going on. Something's different going on with Phil in the background that I can't quite put my finger on, but
Yeah.
the statements and the appearance of him, something's happening. This ain't normal Phil. This isn't just old man Phil. Phil's battling some demons, and the rumors are starting to swirl a little bit too much for it to just be, people are joking around or trying to put credence behind it. So I hope Phil's doing okay. I agree. I want him to lock in and figure it out. Just close out your career not being a full hot mess of a golfer.
Yeah.
You know, credit to you for, being a maverick and feeling like you were able to go out on your own, start live, get players more money in their pockets. I know that was your ultimate goal. At least that's what was stated. You've done that. So again, take care of your own career. Um, you know, don't be a total embarrassment going out. That's
Yeah.
one thing. But on the shoe thing, we kind of had our master shoe preview. I noticed a couple guys, um, free agents maybe. I don't know. John Rahm out there wearing the True Links wear. That one was a surprise. That caught me off guard. Again, I hadn't been watching Live after the first handful of weeks. It just hadn't been interesting. So he could have been wearing these last week when they played prior to the Masters, and I just didn't catch it. But that one's interesting. DJ has
I
switched
think that's
shoes.
newly inked.
That's like fresh, but he's not on their website. They're not featuring him as a player in terms of Rom. So I don't
Really.
think he's got a deal. I don't think he's got a deal with them, and they're very
Mm.
much need the advertisement. They're
Yeah.
a smaller shoe
Who
brand, so I
who
don't
they
think
have?
there's anything
Chris
official
Kirk
there.
still up there?
Chris Kirk, Ryan, God, the guy he's a shorter guy that actually kind of was their lead, and I think he may have helped found the company. Ryan, he's a Las Vegas guy. Jesus Christ. Who else is with them? They got a couple other pros too that have signed on with them as well. But
Hmm.
again, not big names. So
Yeah.
that one was interesting. DJ, we've seen switch shoes quite a bit. Went with FootJoys right out of the gate. Has gone to the Jordan ones as well. So I love seeing the footwear changes, especially when someone's a free agent and isn't forced to wear a specific shoe. So as soon
Yeah.
as John Rahm could get off those quaters, I think that's how you say it, right? he was
Yeah.
he's gone.
Which is Travis Matthew.
Yeah,
I think that's the whole reason why it flopped. I talked to our Travis Matthew rep about this all the time. That's the reason why their shoe game flopped is because they tried to name it something quote unquote cool and try to be outside the box when really for brands name is a lot. Brand and likeness is really what it's about. People
yeah,
gravitated towards Travis Matthew. Why you didn't link on to that is beyond me. Now the shoe is actually Travis Matthew as well. So now they might be trying to fight back. But I think
okay,
it's pretty much already the ship is sailed on that as far as like it taking off and being like a true success. But Travis Matthew apparel is good enough on its own. They could,
true.
flop on shoes and still be Gucci. So that's neither here nor there. But I don't think it's a very unfortunately we have like the everyday wear and then we have like the spikeless version in our shop. We have them on discount. We have them on clearance. I mean,
They're not moving.
they're not moving. We're not offering them anymore. Like we didn't redo like, hey, like let's get some more in the shop. Nothing. Like we are Travis Matthew apparel. and then the shoes are just as soon as we're done selling the shoes, we're done with the shoes. We tried to offload. We tried to put them on wheels, as you call, like, hey, can you just take these back? We'll like take a credit or something, like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, not good. Anyways, let's see. Sergio Garcia, very predictable. I don't know. Keegan Bradley's either hot or cold with me. I wasn't really impressed
Yeah. It's not
or
surprising.
discouraged
Yeah.
by what he was doing. Yeah, not surprised there. Billy Horschel, he's a family man. Do the family thing. I mean, like he did the par 3 contest. Cool, congrats. I guess. I don't know.
One
Where's
thing I couldn't
Kepka?
find,
Tony Finau?
I couldn't find the stats on it of guys who have had a hole in one in the par 3 contest and actually gone on to win. I don't think there's ever been one. I couldn't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that has held true. That if you've had a had a hole in one in the par 3 contest, you have not gone on to have a good master. So
Yeah.
he falls in that category.
Yeah, pain. Well, crazy because he did better when he dislocated his ankle and played on that. I mean, now he's in peak health or whatever. He ain't doing it. Anyways, let's move on from the cuts. Look.
Yeah, I know. Also, just a notable, I wanted to give a shout out to Bubba Watson for actually showing up this weekend. He's had a rough go at it, up to the point where he almost lost his spot on Live last year due to relegation. For him to have a decent showing at the Masters, 2-time winner there. But again, if your game's not trending, it's hard to count somebody as somebody that's going to make the cut and have a decent tournament. But he finished 3 under, so it is a respectable showing out there. Didn't just kind of lay down with it. So salute to Bubba Watson.
Yeah.
Let's get into Jordan Spieth. Got a couple of videos on him. For y'all in the background, me and Marcus have been having this discussion for a little bit, and I think this weekend has finally solidified it that we really don't like the way Jordan Spieth is trending. He's had a couple of incidents early on in the year where just a little bit of whining with remind me, it just literally dropped out of my brain. He was complaining about what earlier this year?
Not getting into the Arnold Palmer, even though he was hurt half the year.
Right. From last year. And then later, Colin Morikawa did him a solid and also had some controversial comments within the same week. And he comes back and apologizes and said he should have earned his spot. But this week we have one formal interview and then one on-course moment that caused some pause for us. So I'm going to pull up the on-course first.
So frustrated, man.
All right, we'll get over it. Gotta get over it.
It's gonna take me a second.
Okay.
I mean, that's a full fucking shot.
Run it back.
I will. Yeah, I came on a little bit delayed.
So I'm so frustrated, man.
All right, we'll get over it. Gotta get over it.
It's gonna take me a second.
Okay.
I mean, that's a full fucking shot.
Shout out Michael
So
Greller for Dylan.
I know.
Oh my God.
Michael Greller is underpaid. I don't care what his percentage is. He is definitely underpaid. He should also get a stipend as a psychologist to have to deal with that. The keyboard comment of the day on that thread was that second grunt really put the fear of God in me or something to that effect. But I was like, yeah, that's being so dramatic. And I ascertained from the scenario with him looking up that he missed his mark or, wasn't able to get in the position and he's upset because of he didn't get the result out of a full shot and then almost, I don't know, just throwing a tantrum on course there. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but just him looking up at the trees and the wind, I don't know, just bizarre.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. you're frustrated, but you're frustrated at yourself. You're frustrated at your game. It's not in the best place. So maybe you and Cam McCormick need to go out to Brook Hollow or wherever you're at in Dallas and lock in for a few weeks. I don't know what to tell you, Jordan, but you throwing temper tantrums on the course on an event that you've won before really isn't the best look, and it's not in your best interest to continue forward with that type of behavior. I mean, you probably got away with it, for a long time, but I think this is now your time for to be, more humble. uh the game hasn't passed you by yet. You still have plenty more years of prime golf to play. So I think a little bit of humility will do you good. A little bit of, just thankfulness that I have the game that I have, and then go from there.
Yeah,
Um,
get in the lab, do the work, stop complaining.
a lot of things been given your way. I think we need to get back to, hey, I need to work for it a little bit. Just saying.
Yeah,
Just
I
saying.
almost I almost accused the media of intentionally catching him on hot mics, but I had to backtrack even in my own brain because I'm like, no, just like the clip I'm about to show, this is him putting himself in a position where he's in front of microphones and saying the things that he's saying.
Right.
Whether he's being asked questions, I mean, he controls his answers at the end of the day. So here we go with this next clip. This is an interview post round and more of the complaining.
Brutally honest with you, it was primarily mud balls, and it's just so frustrating because you can't talk about them here. You're not supposed to talk about them. I mean, mud balls can affect this tournament significantly, and they've done a better job. There's like less than normal, but I mean, I still had them today on those holes too. I had them yesterday on those holes, and yeah, I was actually really surprised, like on Tuesday, how I mean, but I'm expecting it a lot out here. Look, it's mowed into the grain. The ball's digging in on every shot. Every person's having to deal with it, but the fact that you're not supposed to talk about it is a bit frustrating because it is a difference maker. It can be a difference maker in scores on some holes.
Again, I don't necessarily understand the mindset, especially that last statement. He's like, the fact that you can't talk about it is frustrating. Does talking about it change that's the scenario? We all
Yeah.
know that the course is going to be, I mean, it's in Georgia. It's going to get rain. I mean, it's been several Masters that we haven't had some rain either the week of or during the tournament. They do mow back into the green. Everybody is also dealing with the same conditions as Jordan. I don't know what he's trying to get from the scenario. I mean, I really don't understand the benefit of even having this dialogue with the media. It's not going to change anything. And then asserting
Right.
essentially that there's some conspiracy. I know, I get it. The Masters locks down the communications and how the course is talked about, but him acting like some tinfoil hat person saying, "Oh, you're not supposed to talk about it." It's just weird, dude. It's frustrating because
Yeah.
I truly do want to root for him as a Dallas kid, as someone who has had good success, someone who
Yeah.
we actually saw, I thought, more maturity earlier on in his career than we've seen here the last handful of years. The
Yeah.
outbursts have become super ridiculous. It's like, dude, can you figure out how to manage your emotions on course? The
Yeah.
passionate approach is no longer helping you. It's not a
Yeah.
benefit to your game. Figure out how to temper that. But for you to throw
Yeah.
a tantrum on course, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. No, truly. Yeah, especially with that, like, bro, I really just think that it's I don't know how to put it in words politely, because it's just like, really at the tender age of 33 or 32, why are you still acting like this? And I mean, the course literally got shut down on Monday from a full day of rain and thunderstorms. If you expected it to be dry or crazy rollout or anything like that, You funny for even believing that. But at the end of the day, just like what you said, just a little bit of maturity. Hey, we're all playing the same course. We're all battling the same things. Um, Maybe I need to play a little bit better. Maybe I need to lock in a little bit more. That's on me. And keep it moving, bro. Like, it's
Yeah.
frustrating, bro. I mean, just like you said, it's frustrating, but it needs to be talked about because it's literally on the forefront. You put yourself in this situation because you interviewed and said it. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
discuss it because it needs to be talked about. And like we said, if for Greller to deal with this, who knows without the hot mic what else Jordan Spieth be complaining about or talking about? You know what? It might just be four or five holes that he does this blow up shit, but like 4 or 5 holes, that's a whole hour out of a 4.5 hour round on the PGA Tour, not even going through your Tuesday practice round, your Monday practice session, your Wednesday practice round, your Wednesday pro am. How much more of this is not on camera and Michael Greller dealing with?
And it speaks to pace of play, right? So we go through this little clip, which lasted about 15 seconds, and then none of that is about the next shot that's coming up.
Right.
So we're managing our player for 15 seconds of what should be a 45-second window. I mean, I don't know if he was the
Right.
first one to hit at that point. He did look like he was behind the next player, but again, we're not discussing strategy for what is the next shot. And so that's, I mean, to me, the professional way to handle that. Okay, you're in the position that you're in. It's not going to change. Let's manage and strategize around how we're going to get up and down, get on the green, whatever the next shot is going to be, and let's talk about that. But Michael Greller has to calm him down. Listen to this grown man grunt on the course. It's
Right.
just it is so frustrating. I'm thinking about the Michael Greller to whoever the next star's bag is. He's got a Ted Scott exiting from Bubba Watson to Scheffler's bag moment coming up at some point, because this has got to be getting frustrating. And I know they've been together since the beginning. I know this, but at some point you're just like, this relationship, as a player, you've not been playing well. Or maybe my voice is not what you need to hear anymore. And maybe he ends up in a situation like his boy, Justin Thomas, who is also, I don't know what the situation was. I didn't get the background on his caddy change this week, or maybe this is just a 1 week deal. But he's had a lot of caddy changes after the start of his career as well. So I think the Jordan Spieth Michael Greller relationship is going to split at some point.
I don't want to put that on him. I don't want to put that on them. I'm not saying that they're going to be, you know what, and I'm not saying that they're going to be a career pair when Jordan's done. Mike walks away, but you never know. This might be the most stable thing that he has going. He might think that if I move on, am I gonna be just thrown to the wayside? So he might be hanging on as well. I think with JT, I think he tweeted about it, and it was more of his caddy got hurt or was sick, and
Yeah, yeah, he's got a back issue.
Yeah, Max Homa's previous caddy is a free agent and had a week to kind of just fill in. So I think they were going through it. And that's probably why JT wasn't as dialed as he should have been, just because he didn't have his regular guy. Because I think JT's been with the guy that he has now for the pretty
It's about a
much
year.
all of this season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully JT finds him a guy. But I think JT was more so he's trying to figure out what's the problem. He figured out it was himself finally, so now he's locked in with a caddy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He finally got his game back together. So I think that's more so why he's like, hey, my fault. Let me stick with you. But Stevie Johnson was finna retire anyways. Bro had been around the block plus some. Went to the
You mean
Champions Tour.
talking about Williams? Steve Williams?
No,
Who's
no, no,
Stevie
no,
Johnson?
no.
My bad.
This is another. He's Steve Stricker's old caddy or something like that. I mean,
Okay.
he's been with like Tiger's eras of players, and then was like, I see something in JT in 2015, and that's why he was with him for a few years, and then he was like, I don't want to do this for like every week because JT was young, so he's playing every week, and he wants to play, and he wants to. So he was like, I don't have time for that. I'm old. So he was like 60,
Uh,
60 something.
Mix Jimmy Johnson. There we go.
Jimmy
Not
Johnson. I'm sorry.
Stevie.
You know me and my
Yeah.
names, but I got one right. My fault.
No, you
Jimmy.
did.
My fault, brother.
No, I had to look it up. But I mean, but yeah, the caddy switching is weird to me. And again, I've never been in that position where I've needed a caddy to say what works and what doesn't, and why some of these relationships go longer than others. But I mean, we've just seen after Jimmy Johnson, JT making several switches in between there. I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. And
Well,
I was lobbying for Rory to get rid of Harry Diamond for the longest time. So we know that's not happening
I
now.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up, but but I will say this sidebar. No. We'll move on. So, one thing about caddies and stuff, crazy to me that I thought the JT Bones experiment would last longer, but probably JT still being a younger guy, he don't probably need all the information that Bones has. Bones probably still a great caddy if you want all that information, if you want to be that analytical, if you want to be that dialed in. I mean, think about it. You dealing with Phil, who's talking about, I want to hit a 165 and a half shot into this wind that's playing a 172.4 shot. When you deal with that for 15 plus years, it's going to be wild dealing with somebody that's like, yo, I think this is my 175 club, or maybe just like a 180 shot. JT don't want all that information. He don't want, I need to get it to this ridge and fly it this far and stuff like that. Probably to an extent he does, but not at the level that Bones wants.
He's maybe thinking a radius, and Phil was more thinking exactly to a spot or whatnot. So I mean, I can see. There's got to be a matchup of the information, the type of caddy that provides that type of detailed information. And some people maybe just need a motivator, somebody that's on the bag, getting their guy more focused in. So I totally understand that there's just different personalities for different players. One thing I don't want to go. Say that again.
Sidebar. Who do you, if you did need a caddy, or if you ever wanted a caddy, what type of caddy would you like on your bag?
Someone that's just going to talk me out of dumb decisions. I think that's often, as a, just an amateur who wants to play not high level golf, but quality golf, right? Like I get frustrated. Like I'm competitive, come from competitive sports. So oftentimes, like me talking myself into good decisions, wanes as the round goes on. So I can come off really good in like my first 6 holes. I may not necessarily be playing my best that day, but I feel like I'm focused in enough to make good decisions out of trouble. Right. Let's say you put yourself in a position that's not great. Don't go flag hunting. Really, I never really should go flag hunting unless it's like middle of the green, dude. Like that's when I've found that I'm playing my best golf, which is aim for the middle of the green. Stay away from the short side. What's been my
Yeah.
tendency as of late? Am I drawing it? Am I hitting it with a slight fade? Am I hitting straight balls? Whatever. And playing to that.
Yeah.
But also, again, if I have a penalty, my next shot should not necessarily be to go for the green. I might still
Yeah.
need to play away from trouble. Go short of the green and chip up, play for the bogey. That type of mentality, not like, oh, I went OB on my drive, I'm dropping, go flag hunting, and then, one putt for a par. That's not that's so I would want someone who would talk me out of dumb decisions. That's me.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I feel like with my game, I kind of know. Just give me the particulars about if you think I should be aggressive on this hole. Like, hey, I think you have the horsepower. Go ahead and pull the driver. It's not gonna be in trouble. Hey, you need to be pulling out your hybrid here. That's the play that's gonna have you in play, and you'll still be able to flag hunt or put yourself in a good iron yardage for you. Um, as long as you're not getting too much into my head as an overthinker as it is, I think that's kind of why I not necessarily defended Rory, but kind of understood why he went with Harry Diamond. He didn't need somebody that was going to sit here and be like, yo, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. He needed somebody that's going to keep him even keel, somebody he could chop it up with, and that when it was time to grind, he was going to be there to be like, yeah, you're right. You need to be hitting this 9 iron. You need to be hitting it 172. That's the yardage you have, and that's what you need to be doing. So like when it's time to like lock in, I think that's kind of what I need as well, because like more times than not, we play courses that we know what we're going to do. We know what we're good at. We know what we can, what's happening with the ball flight and stuff like that. So I also don't
Yeah.
need somebody that's going to be in my brain more than I am.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe we're seeing a revolution or a movement within caddies and players. I think we've definitely seen a migration away from like our mid 20 guys and early 30 guys, moving away from more experienced caddies. We saw that with Rory and his first
Yeah.
caddy. We saw that, of course, with JT. We saw that with Jason Day leaving Colin Swadden. You know, as your
Right.
caddy got older, maybe that is the trend. I don't know if these guys are they're just more prepared than guys in the past. Don't want to hear all the mentoring and kind of dadisms. I don't know what the deal is, but we're clearly seeing a trend. Hell, also, Matthew Fitzpatrick recently split from his
Yep.
caddy.
Yeah. New
Um,
caddy.
yeah, it's all over the place. So again, younger guys splitting with older caddies, not wanting to ruin the personal relationship. Maybe there's gotten to be a little too much tension, a little too much preaching going on in the relationship. Who the heck knows? But it's
Yeah.
definitely it's not the next time we see it will not be the last time. I mean, it's just ongoing. So
Yeah.
anyway,
True.
someone that I want to give their flowers that we haven't even really talked about. We haven't talked about him at all. Is Justin Rose. I will be honest. I don't love Justin Rose, um, for my own reasons. Personal, like run into him at golf tournaments. Not exactly the most personable human being. That's my own thing.
Yeah.
But put himself in a position to start the tournament 8 under. It is his 7 under after round one,
7.
right? 7 under because he had 8 birdies. Ended up giving one back at the end there. But nevertheless, the fifth time in round one that has either led or co-led in the Masters, and then day two also leading. So he's had 9 days at the Masters where he has been in the lead or co-led. So front runner status solidified with Justin Rose. Of course, has never been able to take the green jacket home, but ended up playing a hell of a round on day one, a hell of a round on Sunday, to put himself in a position to get in the playoff with Rory, even though Rory should have made that par putt on 18. That's neither
Yeah.
here nor there. Justin Rose played a round where he put himself in the conversation. Ended up actually playing a pretty decent hole on 18 as well, but Rory just stuffed it and, closed it out. But kudos to Justin Rose, man. I mean, he's in I think he's 43, 44. He might have already turned 44. Getting up there in age, but he is someone that is still playing. Talked about it after. He's like, you keep knocking on the door and eventually it happens. We saw him win the U.S. Open way back when at Marion and Philadelphia. The guy's always had a nice game, really solid swing, aesthetically pleasing as a swing. But
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention his, really a good tournament to just go, get his runner-up status, but played solidly. Middle part of the tournament could have been a little bit better for him, but two very kind of out of his mind days. What'd you think of Justin Rose?
Yeah. Wasn't really. I will say I was impressed with day one, but was I fooled by what happened day one? No. And I
Right.
don't mean that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I mean, like, look, there's 3 more days to be played. And we saw what happened day two. It is hard for most guys, if not everybody, to double down on a hot round. Like, that's why Rory going 66, 66 is still stupid. The fourth lowest, Friday, Saturday, 36 holes in history of the Masters. You know what I'm saying? And who's in front of him? Tiger shooting a fucking 131. Excuse my language. A 131. You know what I'm saying? So for J Rose to bounce back, that's some real kahunas. But he lost the tournament Saturday. Period.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is. If he shoots even par, he's in the tournament. He's 8 under, 7 under, or whatever. You shoot 71. You shoot 75 on a day where everybody was eating on the course. You can't have that. You can't have that. And it's a day where you look at the game and you go through the round. He didn't do anything egregious, but he played conservatively. He played to targets. He didn't go and get it. You saw, just like what you said, you saw Rory, very first hole, drives over the bunker, has literally a sand wedge into the green, and birdies the hole off rip. Like, when you are leading a tournament, you can't stay still. You still have to have it in third or fourth gear. You can't be just letting your foot off the brake. You got to put your foot down a little bit. So
I think you have to err on the side of aggressiveness, no matter what.
Thank you.
On Saturday, in particular, you've put yourself in a position where you've made the cut. You're leading the tournament 2 consecutive days. You have to figure out how to just go be aggressive.
And for a guy like Justin Rose, what do you have to lose, bruh? You've done this way too many times. You've been in this predicament way too many times, bro. What do you personally have to lose, J Rose?
Right.
I can't. I love his putter, but I can't believe in it. I can't believe in it, right? I can't.
I just didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go the whole show without mentioning his name, the man that was in the playoff, right?
For sure, you have to.
You have to give him credit where credit is due. But at the end of the day, he lost to the better man. Some of the shots, like, it was cool. The Masters, I mean, we it goes without saying, every year, the Masters is literally the best golf app that exists, and it is only for 4 days of the year. But it is literally the best app and coverage because you can watch any shot from any player at any point. So like I was watching Angel Cabrera play holes, going back and watching holes that he played or whatever. You can do that for any player. And so the Masters putting together a montage of Rory's final day, and it's not the TV cuts. That's the fun part about it. It's not all the same shots that you're seeing from the national broadcast. It is some different angles. It's not all the shot tracer stuff, but seeing Rory's round on Sunday kind of put in like a few minutes span, really impressive. The shot shaping kind of nuts. I mean, he had the draw working big time. I mean, that seems to be the shape that he is just hitting whenever he wants to, and it's not some baby draw. It is a big swooping draw, which he hit into what hole is that? Several
15?
times. 15. Two crazy shots in the 15 this week.
Listen, that 6-iron dog on Saturday, brother, he hit his 6-iron like it was a 9, bro. Like that thing just went straight up and it float. It you want to say it floats, but like when you hear the noise of it coming off the club, you know it's something behind that thing.
That wind, that the velocity. So I mean, day one was the debacle day, where he went into the water with a horrible chip from the back of the green on day one. That was amateurish.
He just
15
too far.
After day one, he went
he took care
birdie, eagle, birdie, eagle, birdie. But day one, that was bad. 17 was bad on day one as well. But again, Rory's iron game right now, my God, it is beyond impressive. Do you know if I haven't seen it yet? Is he committed to the RBC or is he sitting this one out?
He already said he's not playing, but he'll be right. But he's only off this week because he's got to defend the Zurich Classic next week with Shane Lowry.
I guess that's a good break, right? I mean,
right?
A lot of emotions this week. Yeah,
truly, he's gonna celebrate. I think he's fine. You don't get fined on that first elevated event that you miss. Right. So this is his first one that he's missed. You get to skip one. So he's good. He'll skip this one and he'll be good. And he comes back and hopefully he repeats again and then celebrates in New Orleans again because we won't see him until the PGA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's end of April, the 24th through the 24th through the 27th, and then he'll have 2 weeks to recoup, or 2.5 weeks or whatever to get ready for the PGA. He's more than fine, I think.
Yeah. We have a dual event this week. The Corrales Punta Cana.
Yeah.
What's coming up after that? So then we have Zurich. The Byron Nelson coming back to Dallas, which we'll see.
Anyways,
we'll see Scotty for that one.
We'll see Jason Day,
the Truist
as well.
Championship. Yeah,
the Truist, is that what they're calling it?
Yeah. So what was this last year?
Wait, no. It's not the Byron Nelson.
No. We have the Byron Nelson, but after the Byron Nelson, in between that, we have
and that's an elevated, huh?
It is, and it's at Philadelphia Cricket Club.
So Rory won that.
I see he's the defender, but it wasn't at the same course, though, right?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Not crazy. Last year.
I mean,
that's interesting. Where
for
was it
all of its
last year?
I don't know. I'm
Hold
looking it
up.
up right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do some
Pa-
talking.
past results. It just yeah.
Ah,
Do some searching.
thank you, Andy.
What?
You're right. They renamed it. Remember, it's not the.
Oh, they moved it away from the quail. From quail.
You're right.
Wow. So I mean, that's
You're right.
interesting that we get to see a course that we're not familiar with in an elevated
Yeah.
event. Um, I'm intrigued. I mean, I
Yeah.
always love seeing new courses, and maybe this is one that finds a rotation. But the fact that they're using it as an elevated event is interesting. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people would love to bag on the PGA Tour schedule. I mean, really, now that we have big names actually playing in the Zurich, you know, that one's
Thanks,
not
Sam.
even one where you're just like screw it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Nah,
watching
you
the
kind of
I'm
gotta
watching
play
the
it.
Zurich. I'm watching
Oh
the
no,
Zurich, man.
no, I'm watching that. I'm watching
Because
that.
then
The two
we've
man.
had Xander Schauffele in past years. We've gotten some names out there,
Oh, for
and
sure.
so I don't know, man. And then the fact here's another thing that we're gonna see with some of these kind of cross current events. Well, with all these young kids that are actually playing pretty damn well, I'm excited to also see them get opportunities. We saw Carl Phillips earlier this year.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
the Kirst, what is God, the kid we talked about from South Africa that got a start while he was still in college. Van something.
Yeah.
Come on, names. You got it. Anyway, so there's a bunch
No.
of there's a bunch of young kids that I'm excited about seeing in some of the kind of what you would consider secondhand events.
Yep.
That are getting starts, especially now that we're going to start seeing some limited fields. Outside of we're going to see regular fields get shrink down. So anytime we can see some of these young kids give themselves some opportunities, um, I'm all for it. So I'm excited about the next month until we get to the PGA
Yeah,
Championship. There's
for
no
sure.
letdown. There is no damn letdown. The
Yeah.
only other random story I want to mention from the Masters that was kind of sad is Nick Dunlap pulling a 90 in round one. Tough day, man. That's
Ooh.
rough. Me and my boy Z were texting about it, and for him to be, a winner on tour as an amateur, I don't know, man. He's got a lot of talent, but I feel like he's in a space right now where he's chasing ghosts. He hasn't played good golf. I mean, it's been up and down
However
for the
you.
last year. Yeah, but
He said,
yeah, that one was rough.
yeah. Um, Definitely says his three wood is his best friend, and even then, he says, apparently he doesn't know if he's gonna make good contact with that either, or contact at all. So that's never a good feeling. Um,
Uh-uh.
as a career shanker, I know the feeling of not knowing if you're going to touch the face in a spot that you want it to. And you just got to keep swinging because you go through phases where it's gonna it's gonna touch that inside of that club, and you're gonna sit here and you're gonna be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but the last round I literally just shot a 74, so it's not like it's far away. So kudos to him for bouncing back. Thankfully, like, at least a lot of reports came out that the homies still reached out, gave him some encouragement, told him, and pat him on the back for that 71 he shot that next day. Came back with his head held high, hit some balls into the woods, doesn't even know where the balls are going, just wanted to hit the ball. So he's young enough to where I think this will be something that we laugh at. Well, hopefully he laughs at, going forward, that I was ever that. But yeah, um, that is just one thing that we will have to move past. and hopefully not ever, go through again. Truly.
Yeah. You don't want to be on that side of the record books ever. Um, I just feel bad for the kid because I know we've
Yeah.
seen the talent. We know he's a talented kid.
We know he's
But it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot coming at you, and you're absorbing a lot. And you don't ever want to say he left too early, and that he needed a little bit more polish because clearly he went out there and won. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it's not something you'd say, but yeah, I hope that we never have to see that from him again. That he does find comfort in his game again. But like you said, when you're trying to still earn a living and you're kind of going through those feelings, like we're lucky that if we ever go through the shanks, we just put the clubs down. And then
Yeah.
you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a couple weeks and I'm gonna come back and see what it feels like. And typically
Facts.
it does feel okay, right? You're not forced to go practice or figure it out because usually I know for me, if when I try to like go sort it out, it's not great.
It gets
It's
worse. It
it's
gets worse.
it gets worse because I'm like throwing the kitchen sink at it. I'm like watching random videos trying to like take this tip, and they're really only like short term fixes. And
Right.
so I feel bad for him again, having to earn a living doing this, day in day out, while shooting around like that. So anyway,
Yeah.
any other random, like I said, a lot of storylines for just the Masters, but yeah,
Two things.
this was going to definitely be a Rory, you know, we were going to suckle at the teat of Rory today because
Yeah.
kudos
It
to
wa-
that
it
man.
was a
But go
Rory
ahead,
tribute.
what you
Um.
got?
So, well, first of all, LPGA is back. Warm up event for their major next week. I'm sorry, not next year, next week. Chevron is next week. So they're out playing in the JM Eagle. They're in Cali. All the girlies
Yep.
is back together. LPGA LET's done a really good job with their social media again this year. So we're getting the stories, we're getting the reposts, letting everybody know that the girls are back in town. So thankful for that. We're gonna see a bunch of golf this week. Um, don't know if y'all are paying attention. PGA Tour is doing range finders. We'll see if that does anything
Yeah.
for pace, even though it's going to be 70 players anyways. So pace should not be stupid as it is. Secondly, Corn Ferry Tour is doing slow pace penalty shots. So we will see if that actually is a determinant for all these boys that's reading and rereading, chunking up grass into the abyss. We gonna see. So that's all I have. We'll keep it tight. We'll keep it light, but something to
I'm gonna
look
clown
at
you on.
in your
I'm gonna clown you on the way out. Determinant? You mean deterrent?
what a determining factor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you use you. It threw me off, but I got you. And I
Sometimes
and
I
I
mumble.
misread that.
I
I
apologize,
misread
man.
that post. So the rangefinder thing is actually going to run through the Truist. So we're going to see it for a full month of
Yeah.
play. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited about it. We're going to see it in multiple scenarios, 2 elevated events, and multiple full field events. So awesome. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to see
Yeah.
if this works long term, but also, I mean, the if the PJ Tour can follow through with um, the penalties for timing in the same way that we saw like on the baseball realm when they were instilling the pitch clock and did it
Yeah.
in the minor leagues first and then brought it up. I've been to multiple major league games since the pitch clock has been
Boy, two
installed,
and a half
and
hours.
it is a much better product.
2.5 hours, brother.
It's
2:45
crazy.
2:45 like on a slow day. We're talking 2:20 on a fast paced day where it's like really good defense, no hitting, no offense and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah,
loving it.
it's
Baseball is so
it's
much more
crazy
watchable on TV
to
and in
have
person. For sure.
to have predictable baseball game times and not be somewhere between 3 and 4.5 hours is kind of nuts to
Right.
me.
Right.
Like I can, like, it was a little bit chilly when we went to the Yankees game, and my daughter loves to
Woo-wee.
complain, but I was able to like say, hey, it's gonna be over pretty quick. I mean, we got to the sixth inning, and I was looking up like, dang, I'm only like one Bud Light in, and
Yeah.
it was pretty much over. So, I mean, yeah, if the PGA Tour can do a similar model, show proof of concept on the Corn Ferry, I would love to see that come up. We've seen it on the ladies' game that it has helped. I mean, they're very new to it as well, but I
Yeah.
think some of the offenders, you get put on notice, right? You don't ever want to be that player that
Right.
gets hit with a stroke penalty. So the Carlotta Sagandas of the world, the Tom Kims of the world, they should have that in the back of their mind. So
Yeah.
good call outs there. Good call outs to
For
finish the
sure.
show there. We're gonna have a lot of golf to talk about this coming week with the RBC Heritage and the Corrales Punta Cana, the LPGA, the DP World Tour is back in action as well this week. So
Yes, sir.
I'm excited. The next we're hitting the stride, right? The Masters has passed. The summer is fast and furious, especially now that we have majors every month. May from April
Golf season
through
is upon us
July
fully.
fully. So excited as all get out. Thank y'all for joining us. Shout out to Andy and Sam for joining us today, and those that bounce in and out. Breeder Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod.
On Marcus.
And
We'll be back
at
at our
normal
regular Monday.
Literally
We got
literally Monday, 9 p.m.
you.
Central.
We got
We
you.
will be back. No
We got you.
alternative programming.